The middle of the Established in the Faith book contains a chart of main events in the Old Testament. And this starts off with creation in 6 literal days, which occurred about the year 4074 BC. And it describes in the book of Genesis 10 generations from Adam through to Noah. Adam, Seth, Enoch, Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech and Noah. Notice that Enoch was taken to heaven without dying, picturing the rapture of the church before the tribulation. Methuselah's name means when he is dead it shall come, meaning that he lived 969 years and he died the very year of the flood. Lamech, his son, means conquering king, picture of Christ coming back, and Noah means rest, a picture of the rest of the millennium. Noah was called by God to build the ark, which he did, and its remains have been found in the mountains of Ararat in Turkey. And there was 1,656 years from the creation of Adam until Noah, which was 10 generations. Then the people were wicked and God permitted a flood to occur and destroy the world, and that's where the fossils were formed, and Noah and his family survived in the ark. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham and Japheth. Shem was the line of Christ, beginning with Elam, which is Persia. He colonized Persia, and then Arphaxad was his 4th son, who led to the line of Christ, Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, leading to Christ. And then we see Japheth, his descendants went to Europe. There was a Tower of Babel, nations divided and spread around the world when God confused their languages, and Ham went to Babylon and to Africa. Now, after Jacob went down to Egypt with his 12 sons, who later on became the 12 tribes in Egypt, there was a wicked Pharaoh who persecuted and killed the Jewish Hebrew babies in the Nile, and Israel called out to God, and God raised up Moses to lead Israel out of Egypt in what is known as the Exodus. And they, after giving 10 plagues on Pharaoh, the 10th being the death of the firstborn of Egypt, and that motivated Pharaoh to let Israel go, and they left, and they went out through across the Gulf of Aqaba into Mount Sinai in Arabia, where God gave them the 10 Commandments and the law, and Moses was 40 days and 40 nights up in the Mount Sinai, where God appeared to him, God the Son appeared to him, and then he came back, and then the Israelites were worshipping a golden calf and many other wicked things Israel was doing, and God told them to go into the land of Canaan through Kadesh Barnea, and they refused. 10 of the 12 spies refused. Caleb and Joshua believed God could get them into the land of Canaan, and so because the people refused to take Joshua and Caleb's advice, God caused Israel to wander 40 years in the wilderness till that generation under 20 had died, and Joshua led Israel into Canaan. Moses died in the 40th year, and then the conquest of Canaan was under Joshua and the elders. Now the elders were known as judges. These were Othniel, Ehud, Shamgar, Barak, Gideon, Abimelech, Tola, Jair, Jephthah, Ibzan, Elah, Abdon, Samson, Eli, Samuel. Then Israel asked God for a king, and God said, this is a big mistake, don't do it, but they persisted. So God gave them their wish by giving them King Saul, who ruled for 40 years. He was a foolish, bad, evil king. Then he died in a battle with the Philistines, and then David, he became the 2nd king of the United Kingdom, and he ruled for 40 years, and his son Solomon became the 3rd king in the United Kingdom, and he built the temple starting in the 4th year of Solomon. Then when Solomon died, his son Rehoboam came to the throne, and the people asked Rehoboam for a reduction in taxation, and he said no, ignoring the older men's advice, and as a result 10 of the 12 tribes rebelled and severed the connection between the Rehoboam and became the northern kingdom of Israel. Now, the northern kingdom of Israel is also had 19 kings. These are Jeroboam, Nadab, Baasha, Elam, Zimri, Omri, Ahab, Ahaziah, Joram, Jehu, Jehoahaz, Joash, Jeroboam II, Zechariah, Shalem, Manasseh, Pekahiah, Pekah, and Hoshea. And then in 721 BC, the Assyrians came and conquered the northern kingdom because they were wicked by killing their babies in the fire and worshipping idols, and they were taken captive into Kurdistan, and mixed races intermarried with the northern kingdom people to form the area of Samaria, and that happened in 721 BC. Now, the southern kingdom was known as Judah, and Judah consisted of two main tribes of Judah and Benjamin. And the first king was Rehoboam. Some were good, but some were very bad. The second king was Abijam, then Asa, then Jehoshaphat, he was good, Joram, Ahaziah, Joash, Amaziah, Azariah, Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, Manasseh, Amos, Josiah, Jehoahaz, Jehoiakim, Jehoiachin, and Zedekiah. In the year 606 BC, the southern kingdom had turned from God, worshipped idols, burnt their babies in the fire, and as a result God permitted Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, to come and conquer the southern kingdom in 606 BC, and Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego and other Jews were taken captive into Babylon. And then the Jewish kings continued to rebel until Zedekiah rebelled, and God permitted the Babylonians to come and conquer Jerusalem and destroy the city and destroy the temple on Tisha B'Av. And then Babylon became the first world empire of Daniel 2 dream, and then Babylon was conquered by Cyrus of Persia in the year 536 BC. Cyrus's name is predicted in Isaiah 44:28 and 45:1-6. And then we see that they were given, Cyrus gave permission for the Jews to go back and rebuild the temple, which they did in the second year of Darius 520 BC. And then King Bardiya stopped them building the temple, and as a result they prayed to God, and Darius of Persia made a decree for them to rebuild the temple without hindrance, and that was a middle year of human history, according to Habakkuk 3 verse 2. And then we see the book of Ezra is talking about how the temple was rebuilt, and then in 444 BC, 4th of March, 10 p.m, Nehemiah asked the king of Persia, Ardashir, permission to go back and rebuild the city, which he gave permission to return to rebuild Jerusalem, and this started the 70-week prophecy prophesied in Daniel 9:25 and 26. And then we see Greece under Alexander conquered Persia in about 330 BC. He died about age 30, and the kingdom divided to his 4 generals. And then the Romans conquered the Greeks in about 67 BC, and Jesus came and was born, and he was crucified in 33 AD. Now, please notice the top of the page. We have 17 prophets, 12 major prophets and 4 minor prophets, plus John the Baptist. And these were Jonah, Joel, Amos, Isaiah, Hosea, Micah, Obadiah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, Haggai, Zechariah, and then Malachi was the last. Then there was 400 years with no revelation, with some apocryphal writings being written, and the last word of Malachi is, "Lest I come and smite the earth with a curse." And then John the Baptist became the voice of one crying in the wilderness, telling Israel to return to Jesus Christ, who is to make straight in the desert a highway for our God. And so John the Baptist was the introducer of Jesus to the Jewish nation, and wicked, evil King Herod killed him. Okay, so, and Jerusalem was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD, and 1 million Jews were killed, and 100,000 were taken captive and sold into Egypt, all because they rejected Christ as their Messiah on Palm Sunday, 29th of March 33 AD, 3 p.m, and then they lost their city and they lost their temple, and they had almost 2,000 years of dispersion and persecution until 1948, when they became a nation, fulfilling Ezekiel 36:24, "I will gather you out of all countries and bring you into your own land," which happened as 1948. Okay, so there's a brief overview of the Old Testament, and please think about that and try and keep this in mind when you're reading the Bible. Okay, God bless.